All right, John, welcome to the studio, buddy. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm fantastic. What a pleasure.
We've been talking about doing this for years.
Right. I can't believe that I'm finally here. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad. And obviously, we'll get into your recent marathon run in Hawaii. I totally want to understand more about this because I'm not a long distance runner. I'm a long distance walker.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but your running, your fucking dedication to running is amazing, and we'll get into that too. But look, let's get audiences up to speed. So, where are you from originally?
I'm from Orange County, so I'm almost local, California native.
That's wild.
Right.
What's it like growing up in Orange County? Like you grow up in paradise.
Paradise. Sheltered, but also diverse at the same time. I grew up in Irvine, so I had a nice blend of cultures, experiences.
Mhm.
Orange County has a reputation of being very Republican. I'm not a Republican. I was not raised in a Republican family, so I definitely grew up alongside people with different views uh, than myself.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I mean, it's paradise. The beach is 20 minutes away from my house. It's Southern California, so it's sunshine
Hmm.
all the time. It's it's amazing.
I would have had such a difficult, like, because I've only been here for like 2.5 years, right? Just under 3 years, and I cannot imagine how hard it would be going to school in Southern California and sitting in class when like every single day it's sunny out and every single day you're just 20 minutes away from the beach. Like I don't think I ever would have gone to class.
Right, right. I mean, that's what happened to me in Hawaii. After I graduated from high school in Irvine, I moved to Hawaii
Mhm.
for college for the first 6 months of my freshman year.
What made you want to go to Hawaii for college?
I mean, I was already living in Paradise in Orange County. I was like, let's up the ante. I was getting kind of bored of California.
Right?
And I was like, I just want more. And I had vacationed in Hawaii growing up with my dad and my mom both. So I always had, a connection to Hawaii.
How far is the flight from LA to Hawaii?
It's like 5 hours. It's so close.
Yeah.
And like flying Hawaiian Airlines, it's like you already feel the aloha. As soon as you get on the plane, it's like the Mai Tai. The entire experience is just
The anxiety and the
amazing.
stress just lowers the moment you get on the
Like, as
plane.
soon as you get on the plane, like when you're in LAX, you're still anxious,
Yeah.
a lot going on. You step on the plane, you're like,
I love how you doubled down on the exotic nature. Like you went from Southern California and you're like, no, I want to go to university in Hawaii.
that's exactly how I felt too. Like I'm such a huge beach guy, but the first time I visited Hawaii, I was like, oh my God, it's like a dream.
Mm.
The ocean is so clear, it's so warm, it's paradise. And then, I'm back in Laguna Beach and I'm like, what is this shithole? Like, I'm like, that's cold and dirty. I mean, obviously I'm kidding, but
Yeah.
it just, there's nothing that compares to Hawaii. It's such a beautiful place.
I was on a call this morning with one of my best friends. He's in Zurich. And he's like, I haven't seen the sun in like 9 straight days. And it's like it won't fucking snow. And it's freezing rain right at like the point where it's about to freeze, but it just doesn't. And he's like, I haven't seen the sun. He's like, tell me what it's like in Los Angeles.
You're like, do you really want to know? Because you're going to feel horrible. Like, I mean, the storms in New York right now. I have clients that travel from New York and they're talking about the snow. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, respectfully, like, how do you live like that? I mean, I can't imagine. I can't process it. Like, I've snowboarded and skied and I've had fun in the mountains for a couple days at a time, but I can't even imagine. I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I think it's a tough ask for a lot of people, like to live through. I mean, I grew up in Canada. Like we had massive winters and long winters, very similar climate to New York, and I just remember like my basketball season also went through the winter,
Okay.
and it was perfect because I was indoors training for like 6 hours a day,
Yeah.
and I was just like, and it was the best way to get through winter was just to train through it.
Yeah.
And then when you get summer, you get time off and you can ride a bicycle, be outside, blah, blah, blah. But the winters was just like head down, gym, training, cart, like physio,
Yeah.
and just getting on with it.
Yeah. And I mean, training is all consuming. So,
It
if you
is.
have that or something to, anchor you and latch onto. I know people say, you stay inside. I'm like, and do what? Watch movies. And I'm like, and then what?
Mm-hmm.
TikTok. I'm like, okay, so you're not depressed? Like, it sounds horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, right. I'm like, okay.
I don't think you'd last a week living on the East Coast.
I would say less than 3 days and be like, get me out of here.
So look, like obviously you do personal training. You're a long distance runner. I'm trying to find like where in your youth was there an influence in just physical activity, or was it just because you grew up in a beautiful part of the world, you were outside all the time?
I've always been outside, and I took an interest in sports because my parents told me, like, you're going to play a team sport. So, you
That's
know,
the American way, right?
and I'm so grateful in the moment. I'm like, I don't want to fucking play a team sport. Like, I don't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to be forced to do something I didn't want to. Like, I remember playing soccer, and I like soccer.
Hmm.
And
I think every American kid plays soccer. Like I
yeah,
played soccer up until like 8, and then I don't know what happened. Like
yeah,
soccer just kind of like moved away, and then it was either like baseball, American football, or basketball, and then I just chose basketball.
right.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point, it like kind of funnels into a couple choices.
Right.
That is very American. I played soccer. My sister played soccer. All my cousins.
Yeah.
Um, Really fun. At that age, you're kind of just running around outside, kicking a ball. Like, there's really no harm, no foul. But that was my start, was
Mhm.
playing soccer, and then I also played t-ball,
Mhm.
and that's was kind of my journey into playing baseball up until high school.
Okay.
Um, Typical, like, my dad was the coach thing.
Mhm.
Towards the end of my baseball career was like sixth, seventh, eighth grade.
Okay.
My dad was the coach, so it started as a fun experience having my dad as a coach, but when I'm pitching like a shitty game and my dad's like, "You're on the mound, you're staying on the mound," I'm like, like I attribute that to a lot of the grit that I have now. But by the time I got to high school, I was like, I was so burnt out from baseball.
That's rough. How many American kids out there have had their parents coach them and had it be like a total disaster?
That's just, I think every single one of them, like, that never ends well. I
Yeah.
don't think. I mean, I guess it could bring people closer together, but it did not happen in my book that way.
It was funny. I played basketball on a team when I was a kid, and I must have been like 12 or 13, like just before high school. And the coach's kid played the same position as me,
Uh,
and the coach's kid would start every game, and I would come off the bench. And even if the coach's kid was just playing like dog shit, he would keep him in all the time and not let me play.
right.
And that just frustrated the fuck out of me. And I was
Absolutely.
like, there needs to be a rule against like having coaches coach their own. But then it's like, well, if I don't coach my kid, I'm never going to see my kid, and then the kid's going to grow up with an absentee father,
It's
and
like
you
a
don't.
total spiral. It's like you're screwed either way.
You are screwed either
Yeah,
way.
right. And I mean, I'm sure your teammate was like, "Fuck, take me off the mound so I can go give Ryan a chance to play." Like, it's a lot of pressure to put on, a young kid, especially when I wasn't necessarily dedicated to baseball. Like, I liked it, but I was a third baseman. I loved it. I was a center fielder. I have always had like a really strong arm, and when it was good, it was good, and when it was bad, I was dragging my feet to practice. So, by the time I got to high school,
Mhm.
uh, I hated running the bases. I don't know what it was about running the bases. I think maybe because it was like a punishment, or I wasn't into running. There was only one other time that I'd been forced to run. I did a 5K with my dad,
Mhm.
and I think I was in like 5th grade. No training into like a straight 5K. It was at Santa Anita Racetrack. And my dad's like, "We're doing a 5K." I'm like, "Okay,
What's that?
sure."
20 laps?
I don't know in what.
One kilometer's 1,600 meters, right? So or it's a thought,
It's 3.1 miles.
right? So
So
that's
5,000 kilometers.
yeah,
Yeah.
5,000 meters.
Five. Is it?
Yeah.
I'm horrible with
Yeah.
this.
It's okay. I think that's what is that? It's 2.5 laps per kilometer, I think. So okay, so yeah, you were sitting in around like 12, 13 laps. So that's a lot for a kid.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Math aside, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And to put things into perspective, like, the end of the race, like, I was trailing my dad, but he was like, "We're not giving up." Like, I didn't walk. Like, it was, I was dragging my feet, and it took me 30 minutes and 55 seconds, which
Mhm.
is symbolic for me. Because after the 5K, I was like, okay, I hate running. And then going into baseball, I hated running the bases, and I was burnt out. So, circling back to this, you're gonna be on a team of some sort. I'm going into high school, and I'm like, I don't want to play baseball. I'm
Mm.
not into the culture. I'm not even gonna give it a chance. I don't want to be on a team.
Yeah.
And my mom's like,
Well, what about golf or tennis or like, individual sports?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing really jumped out at me.
Yeah.
But, there was a moment in 8th grade where it was called the Youth Action Team, and they hosted events or basically what I'm describing that how I was involved is that there was like a cross country running section of this youth action team. So it was like after school when you're in 8th grade, you can go and they'll take you to like a trail and you could run.
I love that. I did cross country for one season.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It was and at the time I was kind of parting ways with the friend group that I was a part of in 8th grade.
Hmm.
At that time I felt I mean, I feel like there's the people that are, starting to smoke weed and party and drink, and, like, I was so conservative growing up in that way. I was just like, "I'm not into it." I didn't have that in me. I don't know. I wasn't interested in smoking,
Well
drinking.
done though. For growing up in Southern California, being outside on the beach all the time. I mean, it's all
Right,
just smoking weed and
right.
drinking underage.
Yeah, yeah, so that was my sister, and I went the other way.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
so it was like, I have a younger sister, she's amazing, love her, but she we were kinda splitting ways. I was splitting ways with my friend group, and I was, I'm gonna go do this cross country thing. I'm gonna run a couple miles, whatever. And I ended up meeting two guys that were, they ended up becoming my best friend. They were
Oh.
they were really close friends. And then
And they were running cross country.
and they were kind of forced into it too, because they're like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing,
Yeah.
but we're signing up for this thing. So we really bonded, and those two guys ended up being like my best friends. And going into high school, I was like, okay, well, I've been doing this cross country thing. It's fun. I enjoy it. And a lot of it, like, we're just messing around. Like, I'm like, if we want to walk, we're walking. Like, it was fun. You're outside, you're kind of doing your own thing. So I joined the cross country team
Hmm.
in my freshman year of high school. So that was like
It's
where my
amazing.
fitness journey began. I was never like ripping crunches or doing push-ups in seventh, eighth grade. Like, that's not where my head was at,
Yeah.
really.
That's wild. Like it's so funny, like these sporting journeys that we all have, and like for people out there who aren't, who didn't grow up in North America, like in Canada, we have obviously you got to be playing hockey by the age of like 5,
Yeah.
and if you're not playing hockey and you're not really good by the age of 10, like forget it, right? Because you
Right.
again, it's like two tracks. It's like you're either serious by the age of 10 or you're not. And then in the U.S. you've got baseball and basketball and American football.
Yeah.
But I loved cross country running too, actually, because it was outdoors. You got to be out in nature. There was no like running on a track. I just felt like it was so repetitive and so boring. And it
Beyond.
was just so nice to like be out in nature. And I loved like having a couple hills
Yeah.
and the mud. And, if you go out after rain, maybe not in Southern California, but in Toronto for sure, like lots of rain.
Yeah.
And it was so peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a huge, you know, um, factor in my life.
Yeah.
It's been a huge it's peace is everything to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much peace I was missing
Hmm.
until I started really running. That makes sense. Um, my high school years were chaotic,
Hmm.
and one thing I could always fall back on in hindsight was my team, and my team brought me peace. And there was something about being out running, the same 6 or 8 miles as the person next to me. I'm a freshman. I'm running the same 8 miles as a senior. Man, woman, whoever's on the team, we're doing it together. And, some days I feel great and I'm carrying the team. Some days I feel horrible and it's my teammate, but we're all out there as a team and we're working towards a
Hmm.
common goal. It's like you're on a football team. Yeah, you're on a team. There's someone throwing the ball, there's someone catching the ball. Everyone has their part and their positions. But for me, running it's so personal, but it's also so interconnected with people you wouldn't expect to connect with.
Hmm.
Um, my team was everything to me.
Hmm.
And throughout high school and events that occurred in my life, I knew I could always rely on my teammates
Hmm.
to have fun and to I felt at peace with my teammates.
Hmm.
It was not like a it was n- it wasn't a chaotic relationship I had.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I feel
Yeah.
like, and I feel like long distance running people, they're maybe they're more focused on their internal journey and like less competitive and like catty. Because I felt like with a lot of team sports, like there's a lot of like internal
Yeah.
unhealthy competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everyone wants you to do well.
Hmm.
There's not second string wanting the quarterback to, I don't know.
So
break his leg. Football people think that, but there's not that. There wasn't that type of competition. It wasn't cutthroat. We all just wanted each other to succeed.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So were you training like 4 or 5 days a week after school? And then what are the competitions like for long distance for cross country running in Southern California?
So we would train all summer long, 7 to like 9 a.m. So Monday through Friday. It would be 5 days on the weekend, uh, strength training,
Mhm.
or, you could kind of link up outside to run with your um, colleagues from where you just go to the beach or something.
Amazing.
But in season, we would do 5 days training. Saturday would be our races, and we would start Monday with like a hill workout, a distance workout. Tuesday would be like some type of like speed interval training. Wednesday, some type of recovery. Thursday, another speed session. Friday would be like a pre-meet, so like a jog, kind of stretch out kind of thing. Saturday competition, 3 mile race.
3 miles was the competition.
3 miles the competition race.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 3 miles.
That's pretty tight. Like that's a sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 5K ran with my dad, the 3.1 uh that I'd run 30:55, and it was like the most miserable thing in my life. Like I was racing that every Saturday for, you know, like half of the year. No, a little less than that. But like for the cross country season.
Yeah.
And something that was like not traumatizing to me, but something that was really difficult. Became something that I was excited about every Saturday.
That's great. It's like you found your own path, right?
I had to.
Yeah.
I didn't have to, but I did, and I'm happy I did.
Baseball
For
was
sure.
not the answer.
I'm so happy I did not try to push through
Yeah.
with that. Right.
The culture I think is pretty toxic in baseball, and also too like it's such a grind. Like you got to go through so many levels of baseball, and there's no like real clear path from college to pros. Like some people go straight, and then some people end up in the minor leagues for like decades. Like it's so
Go.
yeah,
Yeah. Where do you go?
it's terrifying.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine the pressure. I mean, one of the takeaways that I had from falling in love with the running is that you put on a pair of shoes, you can run wherever.
You know,
You can do it by yourself. Like you can run with your friend. There's so many ways to run, and it all just starts with putting on your shoes and going out the door.
Yeah.
Baseball, basketball, you need something, someone, and running is just something that it changed my life forever. And I could run out the door right now. Like you can do it wherever. That's what's amazing about it.
I have never had someone run to the podcast or run while leaving the
First
podcast.
time for everything. I'm like running straight out the door here.
That'd be fucking hilarious. Okay, so you graduate high school after being on the long distance running team, and then what? Like you go to university in Hawaii, and you're like, I'm just gonna keep running.
Just ran around the island, honestly. I would run
Just
to the
run around
beach.
the island.
Yeah, it was like that serious. I'm like, yeah, like I had my running shoes, and I knew a couple of people from high school, but it was, basically just me at the beach. If I wasn't taking the bus to the beach, I was just jogging the 3 miles, jumping in the ocean, air drying, and just running back and just loving it. It was so new and so exciting. And yeah, I really loved Hawaii, but kind of like what you were explaining earlier, when you're in paradise, like you don't want to sit in a classroom. Like you want to be at the beach. And
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I actually had no idea. I took a kinesiology class actually because I wanted to be a physical therapist. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And after my first lecture, I dropped out. I was like, I'm not doing this. It was like I'd never experienced this, like 100 people and this tiny little lecturer, like at the way bottom. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm
Mm.
like, I can't.
And you're
So
indoors,
yeah.
and you're living in like the most beautiful place in the world.
That's exactly what I'm like. I was like, and I'm like, this isn't right for me. This is fun, but there's a different path for me
Mhm.
here.
So what'd you swap out into?
What was that?
What did you swap into? Like you got out of physiotherapy.
Well, I went undeclared with my major, and then I transferred schools.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going back to California, not to Southern California. I went up to school in Oakland
Okay.
in Redwood Heights. It was a school called Hawaiian Ames University, and I was a communications major, and I ran a lot there. I ended up meeting one of my best friends, currently one of my best friends still, through running. We would run down, I forgot what the street was called. We were at the top of the hill, so we'd run down the hill and then up another hill to this Mormon church. Like that was our kind of like 2 miles out, 2 miles back thing,
Yeah.
and we really bonded over that running.
Mm.
So
Did you compete for the university at all?
Was not good enough to compete.
Yeah.
I was a good runner and I loved running, and I finished my record for 3 miles was 17:12. So yeah, 17:12. So I'd taken it from 30:55 to 17:12.
Mm.
I was happy with that.
Yeah.
My team was really incredible, amazing, like elite athletes, like one state level.
Hmm.
And I think that's what pushed me to really push myself. But by no means was I ready to like run on a team.
For like at an NCAA level.
There's no way.
It's that's where it gets like super fucking serious, I think. Like that's where fun hobbies go to die.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you want to be a professional.
And yeah, exactly. Like what's the end goal there? I had teammates that went to school for running and went to great schools and they were burnt out.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that story about Lance Armstrong?
What one?
So obviously he was like he admitted he doped through all those Tour de France titles and things like that. But one of the funny things is that he retired from cycling, and he was like, I love running, and that's going to be the way I stay fit and healthy for like the rest of my life. So he was like, I'm just going to travel around the world doing marathons. And once he started training for marathons and like had this goal in mind, he started just hating running. And it ruined it for him because he really enjoyed running when it was a hobby. But then once he started to have to train for marathons and just the endless pounding and 28 miles and blah 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 blah, it turned him off the sport entirely, and he gave up his whole idea of like traveling around the world doing marathons, even though he loved running like as a hobby. Yeah.
I mean, I could see where marathon training would be where running lovers' love for running dies. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I myself, I never wanted to run a marathon ever.
That's strange.
Ever in my life.
Yeah.
I ran a half marathon in high school. Did not like it. I mean, towards the end, I was dying. Hated it. I ran with my friends. Nipples bleeding through the shirt. Like it was bad. Like it was a wake up call to. I never wanted to race that far again.
Yeah, the nipple chafing is serious.
It's serious. It really is. It's horrible. And you see pictures of people from marathons with their nipples bleeding. I'm like, it's that serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long was it? So you graduate university, you're running casually, like as a hobby, but you're really enthusiastic about it. And then what? You come back down to LA after college?
Back down to LA. I actually transferred again. I transferred to a third college. I graduated from Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles in 2019.
Oh wow. You're fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It feels that way. It feels like it was yesterday.
As long as you got to graduate before COVID, I feel so bad for these kids that graduated like remotely, spending all these years and all this money and all this time, and you don't even get to graduate with your friends.
You don't get to drink champagne at 8 a.m. and walk across the stage wasted and have the best day ever and celebrating all the trauma of college. Yeah, no, I feel for them too. I think, yeah, I was the last year before, it was finito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got in right under the wire.
Thank God. But yeah, I mean, even when I moved to LA, I was running the back pass. I was hiking. I've always run shorter distances. At this time, it was like maybe 3 to 5 to 6 miles. That would be kind of like my range. I was working at a restaurant. I would wake up in the morning. I would go for a run or I'd go for a long hike, go work at the restaurant, stay up late, wake up late in the day and kind of do the same thing. Or I would finish my restaurant shift and I would go run with my best friend who was a student at the time who had kind of like a crazy schedule. So we would run at nighttime just up and down the Venice Boardwalk, 3 to 5 miles. That was it.
How hard is it to motivate yourself to run in Southern California when the weather's perfect every fucking day? Like in Toronto, I used to go running and stuff like that in the off season, and it was so easy to just look out and be like, no, it's raining today, or it's going to be miserable today or whatever, and you just don't go. But that like in Southern California, if you go out every day at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., you're going to be running in beautiful sunshine.
Right.
It's going to be a perfect day.
Yeah.
You're going to see lots of pretty people.
Yeah.
Like that. It's got to be so hard to like stay motivated or to have any kind of like exit where it's like, no, it's going to rain today, I'm not going to go.
It's like you have no excuse. Yeah, I had no excuses. I mean, I look forward to that. I look forward to all of that. Even the days that I didn't want to run. Well, I mean, back then before I was training for a race, there were, I'm not going to run today, I'm going to hike. I'm not going to run today, I'm going to bike. Because, if you're not training anything, I'm doing it for fun. if I'm not feeling like doing that for fun today, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was kind of all over the place with my fitness. I wasn't even really strength training seriously. I was strength training in my friend's backyard.
Oh, wow.
She has this backyard setup with the barbell, some rusty metal plates, and that was it. It was like push-ups and pull-ups and, some squats with the barbell.
So what made you get serious about physical fitness? Because obviously you do personal training now as well as
Yeah.
you're running. What flipped that switch?
Oh, it was COVID.
Oh,
It was
really?
COVID. I was working in sales. I absolutely hated it. COVID happened, and I'm like, done. I'm moving on with my life. My best friend is a lecturer at Cal State Long Beach, and she's a well, not a physical therapist. She's a personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So she got me into that. I'm like, okay, you're doing this and you love it. We work out all the time. It's all I like to do. I'm super, stoked about this. Like, let me get certified and like see where I can go with this.
That's amazing because
Yeah.
like you have to imagine that if you're going to be a personal trainer, like Southern California, Los Angeles area is probably the best place to do it because everyone here makes money on how they look.
Everyone's obsessed with it. Yeah, I mean,
Exactly. Like it's got to be the best place to be a personal trainer, I think, because everyone is just completely focused on it. I think like
yeah,
per capita globally, people probably spend more money on personal training here in Southern California than anywhere else in the world.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you travel anywhere else in the world, at least in like the middle of the United States, it's like it's a different world. It's a different landscape. There's not a Pilates studio or a gym on every block.
Yeah.
People aren't walking around in their aloe outfits and showing skin and showing off, these amazing, incredible physiques that they've worked so hard for. But, culturally, it's so different,
Yeah.
even within America.
That's wild though. That COVID got you focused on that.
I was like, I need to find something that brings me happiness, and I can't spend my life doing sales because I hate it. So I was like, let me get certified and see where this goes. I love people. I love talking to people. I love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's been so fulfilling for me, um, in my experience. So
What was this? Sorry to interrupt. What was the certification process like?
easy,
Yeah.
so easy.
I've
National-
never done it.
I mean, the National Academy of Sports Medicine. They give you like a huge textbook,
Mhm.
and I read it cover to cover. It took me months to do, but I read it cover to cover and I outlined it, and I thought that I'd learned so much, and I got certified. And then I stepped into the gym space, and I was like, oh my God, like they did not teach me about this. I didn't learn anything from this textbook. I mean, the basics, which I had known from, being athletic through my life and, some kind of the scientific backgrounds, um, I was able to, learn more about. Um, but when I got into the gym space, I was like, whoa, like, what's that? What is this? It was overwhelming in a sense. And I started at Dogpound. That's where I work now. So I started at Dogpound as an intern. I just finished up my program.
What made you choose that place? Because obviously I've had Kirk on the podcast,
Right.
and he's the founder of the Dog Pound, and he
Yeah.
started in New York.
Mhm.
But I'm just curious, like, did they have such a presence out here in LA that like right away you were like, okay, that's got to be the best place to work? Like, because obviously there's Equinoxes and there's all the other gyms and there's all these like small studios that exist. Like I think there's even where we are here in the studio, there's one across the street on Beverly. There's like 3 more down on 3rd Street. Like
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
So what made
Right.
you choose like Dog Pound?
I didn't choose Dog Pounds. It was fate that chose Dog Pound for me. I hadn't heard of Dog Pound, so I signed up for this internship program through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. They emailed me like a couple weeks later. Okay, like we're gonna set you up at Dog Pound. I'm like, what's Dog Pound? I go on the Instagram. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, what is Dog Pound? I was like, oh my God. I was like, am I ready for this? Am I cut out for this? I mean, the Instagram is so intense. Like there's celebrities. Like this is crazy. Like I had that moment of like anxiety. I'm like, is this what I want to do? Like, am I qualified or good enough for this?
Yeah. It's a wild ride, isn't it? Yeah. First time I went to Dog Pound in New York, Hugh Jackman was there working out for Wolverine. It was like 2015 or something.
Yeah.
And he was a fucking beast. And I was like, what am I doing here?
Right. Right. I mean, natural to feel that way. I'm like, whoa. So, I followed through with the general manager, Miranda, at the time. And I was like, hi, like, I'm here for the interview process. And, we really hit it off during the interview. I spoke with the director of operations, like, yeah, let's get you in. It was an 8-week internship.
Mm-hmm.
It was, 10 hours a week. So I was interning 3 days a week in the mornings, and I would come in, I would shadow trainers
Hmm.
and just absorb as much information as possible. Um, while, staying focused when I have like the loud music, the celebrities around me, and I've never been someone to be starstruck.
Right.
Um, but it's a different vibe when you're an intern in a space like that and you're shadowing a session with a celebrity,
Yeah.
it took a minute to get adjusted to.
Yeah. It's strange actually, because like in LA, you run into people all the time,
Mhm.
like movie stars, actors, like singers, like
Right.
it's and they'll just be like at Whole Foods or at Trader Joe's or whatever. Like you'll just see or CVS, like you're
Yeah.
going to some terrible looking CVS at like 11 p.m. and you'll run into, some actor you've seen on TV for like 20 years.
Right.
It's so bizarre living in this town.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And especially, I was 24, 25 when I started at Dog Pound.
Yeah.
No, I was a little older. It's tw- I was I've been there for like 4.5 years. So I was like 27 when I started.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been a Venice Beach guy. Like I've been Marina Del Rey, Venice Beach. Like I've never been in the scene. I've never really been in the mix, the Hollywood mix. I think that kind of worked to my advantage as well. Like
Hmm.
at first I was kind of intimidated, but then I realized like, you know, everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time.
Sure.
It's important to realize that.
Hmm.
And, getting over that idea of like intimidation almost,
Hmm.
um, I was able to learn a lot quicker
Hmm.
because I'm like, yes, these guys have been doing this for a long time, but they started somewhere like I did. And, when I've set my mind to something, like I achieve it, being open and learning. And I learned from, the best. I learned from Kirk.
Yeah.
I learned from, the guys that started that business with Kirk. I learned, I was learning from the front desk girls. Like I was learning everything and taking in so much information. And at the end of my internship, they gave me a job. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm not the intern anymore. Like I'm on the schedule.
Hmm.
And then I started with one client and I'm like, they liked me. And I, started with another client and, building my books over the years, I look back and I'm like, I had like 3 or 4 clients a week
Hmm.
back then because no one knew me and there were 15 trainers, so I'm always going to be the one at the bottom of the list,
Hmm.
which was fine
Yeah.
because
Getting all the newbies.
I was getting all the newbies.
Like me. You got
Yeah,
me. That's how we
right,
met. Yeah, yeah.
right, yeah. I'm like, the newbie comes in, I'm like, you know what, they don't know me as an intern, they don't know I've just started working here. Like they know, service with a smile, and they want to be seen, heard, understood, and they want a great, safe, effective, personalized workout.
Yeah.
um And, just over the years, that's how I built my own space out at Dog Pound.
It's such a wonderful location. Like that's the thing that obviously got me there is like because I had been working out at the Dog Pound in New York, which is really small,
Uh-huh.
and the one in LA is like really like 5 or 6 times bigger. But I love the basketball net. I love the vibe. I love the energy there is so much different than other gyms,
It
and I
is.
really like appreciate that effort that went into that whole concept.
I mean, it's such an amazing place.
Hmm.
And to see how many lives that we've changed over the years, it's there's so much inspiration and heart and character to that space.
Hmm.
People see the aesthetics and how beautiful it is. And it's such a beautiful space physically, but you walk in the doors and you feel a sense of community. Ego aside, everyone is just there for each other.
Hmm.
Um, it's such a team effort,
Yeah.
not only among the trainers, but also the clients.
Yeah.
The clients have built such an amazing community. It's such a special place.
Yeah.
Um,
We need another drinks night. We haven't had a drinks night in like over a year.
right. No, I know, right? Let's get a drinks night going
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
We got to lay that one out there.
Yeah.
So, what was it like starting in personal training during COVID when everyone was like afraid to be next to other people? Like, was that a difficult thing, or were people just like, "This is bullshit. Let's just train"?
It was pretty much that. I mean, I wasn't at Dog Pound yet when it was like mask mandated kind of thing. So I was still working at a restaurant. I was
Yeah.
doing my internship at Dog Pound like just after like the mask mandate had been lifted. So the doors were open, everything was all clear, ready to go. So I really didn't have any experience other than like the clients that I kind of been seeing on the side, like my friend's dad. Like I'd been training someone face to face in that setting. My friends, sure, but I didn't have any like pushback or I wasn't really affected by the COVID-19 crisis in terms of my training.
That's good.
Yeah, because as soon as I started, like I said, the masks were off. It was game on.
Yeah. I think the US recovered super quick through that whole process. Like, even though there was lockdowns and people were working remotely, like people kind of got back to normal life pretty quick. Obviously, the film and television industry was a little bit messed up for a while, but people got back to like being outside and exercising, and it was pretty good. And of course, you're in Southern California; it's easy to go outside and just do your own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's wild. So you're in you're in your 5th year now of this journey.
5th year. It went by so fast.
Yeah.
I feel like I started on season 1 of a TV show, and now it's season 5, and I'm like, oh my God, like,
And you're the elder statesman.
yeah. I'm like, whoa, I'm like senior cast. I'm like, feel like almost like I started high school with these people, and it's my senior year. I mean, beyond my senior year.
Yeah.
And I'm not the freshman anymore. And just seeing a different cast of people
Mm-hmm.
now, I consider my team now like to be the strongest team. I think because we've honed in a little bit more on maybe the community aspect.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think honestly, because this has been the longest that we've had the same trainers, I think. So we've grown together in a way that like we've had this solid 10 trainers, and we've grown through, the ups and downs of, any business.
Yeah. It's been like more than a year since someone left, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's been a long time. So we've been locked in, and I think that's why I feel the closest and that we're the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we've had this bond. No one's left. Yeah.
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 Wild. So, okay. So you come out of university, you're running as a hobby, you love it. You come you come back to Southern California, you're working at a restaurant, you're interning at the Dog Pound. Again, you're kind of getting into fitness and personal training. You got certified. What makes you like decide like, I want to start running marathons and I'm going to start training hard for this? Because like
Right.
I've been training with you for the last couple years, and I've been watching your progress, building up for these marathons, and it's fucking insane. Like you work an 8 or 10 hour day dealing with people like me, and then you go for like a 6 or 8 mile run, in the evening or in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's fucking insane. So like what made you be like, okay, like I'm going to be a personal trainer, and then I'm just going to fucking run marathons on the side? Because to me, that is like above and beyond.
I think I'm insane. Like, I actually think I'm crazy.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. Like, in hearing you say that, like, I realize I'm like, wow, like I do that. Like there's something about endurance that I'm obsessed with. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to endurance, it's like, how long can I go? What, like, how much can I endure? How long can I go? How far can I go? How much can I fit into my day? I finished my day, and I'm like, okay, I did a lot today. And I'm like, yeah, I woke up at 4:50, trained clients, went home, and like you said, run 6 or 8 miles. And I'm not like, whoa, me, like I'm amazing. But there's something in my mind that I I like that feeling of like push, 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 and not, and I'm trying to distract myself from anything. I genuinely like seeing how far I can push myself.
That's wild. And the fact that
Yeah.
you've chosen like running to do that, right? Like,
Right.
because I love pushing myself too, but I just can't run. Like, I just find it the pounding, and like maybe I'm not obviously putting enough time and effort into it, but like I've found my outlet in other ways that are more physically enjoyable, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
right,
I'm just
right.
but I'm just wondering, like, what made it be like, okay, I'm going to test myself kind of on a daily basis, and then maybe every 6 months or 12 months on a marathon?
Mm.
Like, what made you decide like that was like running was going to be the thing for you?
I think the main switch was for a while, when I first started Dog Pound, I took a step back from the running. I was like, weights, 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 weights. I started Dog Pound. It was like I think it was like 170 pounds. And now I'm sitting at like 185. Like I put on a lot of muscle, strength training. And it got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I miss running. And my best friend and I had been kind of talking about running a half marathon. So, okay, we're going to sign up for a half marathon. Trained for 3 months, ran the half marathon. As soon as I was done with the half marathon, I was like, I'm never doing a marathon ever, ever, ever. I was like, I'm never doing that. And that was,
What was so bad about the half marathon?
I was just tired. The last 2 miles, I'm like, oh my God, that was so hard. And even running for 13 miles at the time, I was like, that was so far. Like the farthest I'd ran was 13 miles when I was in high school, and that was miserable.
Mhm.
So coming back to it, I'm like, when I was finishing the race, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, this is miserable. And then you cross the finish line, and I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. Still never doing a marathon. Like, that was my mindset.
I love the I love the roller coaster of the story you just told.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's reality. It's like,
You're a mile out and you want to kill yourself, and then you cross the finish line like this is the best feeling in the world.
it's psycho. It's actually psycho.
Yeah.
And that's endurance to me. It's like, you see something, and it's like, maybe you want to do it that day, maybe you don't, but you do it. And then after, you're happy. You feel good. You feel accomplished. And
That's everything in life, though, isn't it?
100%.
Like I wake up in the morning here and like I'll go hiking out by the Hollywood sign if it's a weekday, and then if it's on the weekends I'll go out to Topanga. And you're right, like getting up at like 5:36 is such a bitch.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, why am I doing this? And then you come back like 2-3 hours later and you feel like you're on a rocket ship, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why I do it.
That's exactly what I do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's called being healthy.
it's being healthy and disciplined, and I mean, and it goes a long way.
Yeah. Remember, imagine like going back a couple thousand years and having like that kind of physical output being the only way you and your family would eat.
Right. Right. No, it's seriously, it's like, it's within our, it's within our DNA to, I think, to push ourselves. We have the luxury of like not having to push ourselves if we don't want to, but there's something so rewarding about being in the sunshine and pushing your body and using what, we have as humans. Like, that sounds corny, but like, it's true,
I also get an extra boost from going out and doing it when the weather's shit. Like, cause obviously like the weather here is so nice every day, but like, like if I catch the weather forecast and it's like, oh, it's going to be raining, which is fucking almost never happens. I think in Southern California, it rains like 10 days a year. But if I catch the weather and it's like, oh, it's going to be raining on Sunday, I kind of get excited for that. It's like, oh yeah, I got to put a jacket on and be ready. Maybe an extra layer,
Yeah, sure.
I love it.
Yeah. The added rain component. I love running in the rain. I mean, not like torrential downpour, but I do like the cloudiness. I like the rain. I have a hard time running in the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my favorite. I like running like past 5 p.m. That's my favorite. Like, I've
Dusk.
had a long day. Yeah, like after work for me is my favorite. Like, my body's already warmed up. I'm ready to go. I've had my caffeine. I've had my carbs. So most of my training was during the week. So to backtrack, why I signed up for this marathon was, my best friend and I were kind of talking about running a marathon. The one I had run. This is a different best friend. I call them all my best friend. This is a different best friend.
Best friend A, best friend B.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We had talked about running this marathon a couple weeks after the half, and I'm like, I don't want to do the LA marathon. Like, I don't want to do a marathon.
I think the LA marathon would be a boring marathon too, because you're just running through the city. Like maybe New York would be a little more interesting because you got some bridges.
Yeah.
And you got great landscapes everywhere. But like LA is just a fucking urban sprawl. Like, it's not a pretty city.
Yeah. It was it was prettier than I thought. The thing is, for the first half there weren't many spectators, so that was kind of, the spectators are everything.
So you did do the LA marathon.
So I did do the LA marathon. So that was like the origin. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it, whatever. So we signed up for, or we didn't sign up for, we planned this like 20-week program. And at first it was like the long run was 8 miles. And I'm like, 8 miles, okay.
So hold on. How do you plan out a 20-week program for anyone listening out there? How do you, because I've never done this.
Yeah.
How do you decide, okay, we're going to run a marathon in 20 weeks.
Right.
And this is what we need to do week in, week out to be ready to go 28 miles, like 40 kilometers.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even start that? Like, are you watching guys on YouTube? Are you Google searching it? Are you using ChatGPT? Like, what's the process?
Yeah, it was ChatGPT for sure. And I regret it. I should not have trusted an AI program to write a program for my first marathon.
Really? It was too aggressive?
The mileage was insane. Looking back, I'm like, the mileage was insane. I'm not an elite athlete. This was not a couch to marathon, but the mileage was insane. I mean, it's insane for me personally. I think for my first marathon, now knowing what I know, I think that I could take that first program and make some tweaks to it compared to the second program I did, and maybe add mileage and make it a little bit more accessible almost. I mean, it's ChatGPT, so it's like 20 weeks, here you go. It gives you, I mean, 20 seconds. You're like, this is 20 weeks of my life running a marathon for the first time. And,
So walk me through, what does week 1 look like on a 20-week program, and what does week 20 look like on a 20-week program?
okay, so week one, as I recall, so it was always like, for the first program, it was like Monday was a run, which was like one of the easiest runs of the week. So it was like a short run. Like Monday was like a short kind of, I would say like, I think the first week it was like 3 miles. And Tuesday was another 3 miles. And then Friday, it was like Thursday was like a cross training, like a strength training. And then Friday would be another run. I think the first week was like 3 miles. It was like 3, cross train, 3. And then the long run would be on Saturday. And that was 8 miles.
Mm.
And week two, the mileage would basically stay the same Monday through Friday. Maybe there'd be 1 mile added to one of the runs in the early stages. And then that Saturday, it would be 9 miles. So every week until week, I would say 16, you'd be adding 1 mile to the long run every week. My math could be totally off. It probably is. But I do know that we did a 19-mile run, we did a 20-mile run, we did a 20-mile run, and then 21-mile run.
Mm-hmm.
Too much volume. It was crazy.
But even just running, like, even like coming back from work on a Monday and doing 3 miles and then doing another 3 miles on Tuesday,
Yeah.
taking Wednesday off, Thursday's training, Friday doing another 3 miles,
Yeah.
and then Saturday doing 9 miles. Like, you're doing, what are you doing? You're doing 18 miles a week.
Right.
You're working full time, and Thursday's cross training.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot. Like, and you're talking about 20 weeks. So what's that? That's 5 months.
Yeah. No, I'm crazy. Like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, and I mean, all marathon runners, like, to set that time aside to commit to something, I think it was the commitment, and we weren't missing workouts. And my best friend, she also ran cross country with me in high school. We were kind of known for like, oh, we're going to cut the run. Like, we both cared, but it wasn't like we knew we weren't going to state. We weren't running in the Olympics. So, there were times that were kind of like just bullshit to run, whatever. So to be on this 20-week program and to be doing every single run, like, it really taught me a lot about, discipline. And it was nice because I train people all day long. I have a program. I'm like, I don't even have to think about this program. Like, I know if it's Monday, this is what I'm doing. I know in 3 weeks, I can look, this is exactly what I'm doing. I don't need to think. I don't need to plan. Like, I'm going to do it.
And did that program give you like some kind of security or safety in the fact that you were on the right track? Like, so for me, I'm a little older than you. Like, I would have a program like that and be like, okay, if I can do this program, like, I won't kill myself.
Right.
Like, this should get me in enough physical shape where, my knees won't buckle.
Yeah.
My back won't blow out. Like, this will warm me up in enough of a way where I can do 28 miles without dying.
Yes.
Yeah. But you must have come at it from a slightly different angle, because like you've been running,
right?
And even though you weren't going for state or trying to be a professional runner, you must have felt like much more comfortable with the distances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, until it was 13 miles, because that's all I'd done. So the week that it was 13-mile long run, I'm like, so what about next week? I'm like,
14
miles. I'm like, how's that supposed to work? And then we hit 14, and then it was like, okay, like it was hard, but we did it. And the next week it was 15. And then by the time it was like 16, 17, 18, when we got to 20, I was like, like, we got this. Now we finished 20 miles. Like, imagine running 6 more. Sounds miserable, but we can do it. Yeah. And by the time it was like 20, 21, the 21-mile run, that's when I knew that I'd pushed myself too hard in terms of mileage.
Yeah.
I wasn't injured throughout the entire program, but I finished this run. Actually, it was the 9-mile run the week before. It was a little bit before the 21-mile run. It was the week of the 19-mile run. I finished a 9-mile run. I was running in Palos Verdes, and it was like running these hills. It was beautiful. And I felt my shin. I had this like sharp pain, like the top of my foot. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is. Like, it was kind of like I'd stepped on something, and the placement of I don't think it was the specific trauma to it, but it kind of felt like I'd stepped on something and something shot up my shin. I've never had shin splints. I always felt bad for people that had shin splints, because I'm like, I never had a shin splint before. But later on in the evening, I was like, I can't even put pressure on my foot. Next day, horrible pain. And, that's when I knew that I just pushed myself too far. And It was frustrating. I wasn't able to run for 4 weeks leading up to the marathon.
That's
So,
wild. You missed 4 weeks out of your
right.
20-week program.
Except the 21-mile run. I did the 21, so I skipped the 20-mile run. I went to the gym with my friend. She ran 20 miles on the treadmill, and I did mixed cardio for 2.5 hours. I was doing the ski machine, biking was fine, rowing, and, trying to get my heart rate to that place where I was sustaining all the fitness I had worked so hard for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was, my dreams were kind of crushed when I wasn't running a month before. I put 16 weeks into this, and
4 long ones.
yeah, yeah. And for the entire month before the race, I did the 21 mile, was in painful, was all taped up, pushed through, and that was it. It was like the taper. So for the taper, I'm like, I'm going to be on the stationary bike. I'm going to be on the ski machine. I'm going to strength train, and I'm just going to baby this shin and this injury.
Mhm.
And I went from, doing this strength train, whatever, this protocol that I kind of made up myself. It was just kind of like whatever at this point, to the start line at the LA Marathon. And I'm like, you know what? I have the heart. Like, this is just about heart. Like, I know I can do this. I know I can finish this. And I'm going to beat my friend who had been training. I'm like, he doesn't have the grit.
As an older man, like you're also risking like major damage to your leg.
Yeah, I'm not thinking
Like,
that at all. At this point, I'm like, I didn't know how it was going to go, but I was on the line and I was like, no, yeah,
yeah.
I,
There's a difference between when you're in your 20s and you're in your 40s. When you're in your 40s, like I don't want to be in a wheelchair for the next fucking 10 years.
yeah, no, was not even thinking that. And I was wearing brand new shoes too that I'd never run in. These brand new shoes.
Yeah.
That my clients gifted me. They're these beautiful Nikes,
Mhm.
carbon plated shoes. I'd never run in them before. So I'm like, I looking back, I mean, this was like a year ago. I'm like, I'm so stupid. Like, I think I'm so smart. And then I'm like, this was just a year ago that I was making these choices.
Mhm.
But to make a long story short, first 13 miles, I'm on pace.
Okay.
Uh, Feeling good. My friend breaks away from me around mile 12, so I'm falling back. I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I do have the heart, but I don't have the cardio capability. Like mentally, like that kind of heart and soul, yeah. But like my heart was, my heart rate is increasing. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna do my best. And I literally smiled to myself and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just enjoy this race. I'm gonna run my own race. I'm gonna enjoy it. And I enjoyed it for another 3 miles until I got to mile 16. And I was like, I had never experienced a hamstring cramp like that in my entire life. It was like my left hamstring, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like,
Just totally seized up.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the protocol for when you're running marathons, it's like you're taking these energy goos and you have to be drinking electrolytes and you have to be eating these salt tabs to make sure your levels are balanced to sustain this effort for 26 miles. Like,
Or
it's
else
not
you just
fast.
dehydrate.
You dehydrate, you cramp up, like, there's so many things that could go wrong where a half marathon, you take a goo, whatever. The marathon distance, it's treacherous and so much can go wrong.
Mhm.
And a lot went wrong for me that day. It was the most challenging day of my life. Like I pushed myself to the edge. It was, the first hamstring cramp and I was like, am I really gonna have to walk? And I was so disheartened. I'm like, I'm gonna have to walk. So I'm like stretching my hamstring and I'm like downing these salt tablets
And by
thinking
this
that
stage, you're not running. You're stopped.
no,
Yeah.
stopped. And like my thing is like I'm stretching, and my thing is I'm thinking already, I'm like, I'm gonna have to tell every single person that I was told that I was training for this marathon that I didn't complete it, that
Right.
I flopped, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get the fucking medal.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to explain to everyone what happened. I'm gonna have to tell them this sob story, and everyone knew that I had this injury, but this wasn't the injury that was preventing me from running. It was a hamstring cramp, and I'm thinking back, you know, I should have done more deadlifts. I should have done more Romanian deadlifts. I should have done more hamstring curls. Like my body wasn't prepared for that effort. So I spent 10.2 miles, running as much as I could. And then it was the hamstring. And I'm like, fuck. And I told myself, I'm not going to walk. I'm going to stop and stretch, but I'm not going to walk.
Mhm.
Okay. And I didn't. And, it took me a long time to finish that race.
How do you even run with a hamstring pull like that?
It was pain the entire time.
Yeah.
It was pain the entire time. I would stretch it. It would kind of subside, but then it was like my left quad. It was like my legs were, they were giving out. And it wasn't like stretch and then every 5 seconds. Like I did have some leeway between stretching. Like I would, maybe like 400 meters or something like that. But my pace was, so slow, and it totally tanked.
From the outside looking in, it sounds like a hydration issue, but do you think it was like a strength issue? Because like when you put yourself through that kind of distance, and like I haven't run that far before, but I've done 20-mile days, walking in deserts and stuff like that, or walking on the sides of mountains and things like that. And sometimes it's not like about strength. It's just about like, again, nutrients and hydration, and like your muscles just cramp all the time when they're just not getting enough of what they need. And it has nothing to do really with like, I wish I did more squats or whatever. It's just like, I need to feed my body in a more healthy way while I'm actually doing the strenuous thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was everything. I think I had pushed myself way too hard to keep pace for the first half, burned up all the carbs in my body, wasn't fueling, wasn't hydrating, was not conditioned in terms of strength. I think it was everything.
Oh.
And I paid the price for 10 miles. And it's, I don't know how to equate
But you finished.
yeah, of course I finished.
Yeah.
I wasn't that far. I was 24 minutes behind the time that I wanted to get.
That's amazing for such an injury.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it just, I mean, I guess I'm making it seem more dramatic than it was, because for the 10 miles, like, it was a struggle, but I was moving fast enough where I was still not on pace. I wasn't on pace, but I finished a lot faster than I thought I was going to, based on the circumstances.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, my friend like blew our goal out of the water. She ran like a 3:48. Like, that was like our goal, was like running like a 3:50 for our first marathon. And yeah, I mean, just thinking about it, went from like, oh, I'm not gonna hit the goal time, to like, oh, I'm not gonna finish. Like, that was a tough moment that I was faced with. At moments I'm taking like oranges from people in the crowd. I'm drinking Gatorade. I'm drinking out of cups, because and you get to a point where you're just delirious. Your body's fried. You're so cooked. You know that you have to keep going because there is an end to it, but the only way is forward.
Yeah.
And your hamstring cramps. It's like, like.
Such a good metaphor for life, isn't it?
It's true, right? It's
when everything goes wrong, you still have to fucking put one foot in front of the other.
Push, and it's just one foot in front of the other, and you keep doing it and doing it, doing it. And sometimes it's way more painful than others. But I tell you, when I crossed the finish line, I was crying. I was like, and not like in a dramatic, like, oh my God, like my glasses were on. I'm kind of tearing up. I'm like, I can't believe that I just accomplished that. And it wasn't my goal time. And in that moment, I reflected, I'm like, why did I wear these shoes? How did I think I was going to be able to do this and run on pace? And how was I not able to manage my expectations a little bit better?
Yeah.
But it was like, I did it. And I was like, when's the next one? Honest to God, like people say, like, as soon as I finish, it's the hardest thing ever. But I'm like, where's the next one? I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. It's true. It's true. You think about what you did wrong, and you think about, the ways you can improve, and you're like, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna right the wrongs, and I'm gonna prove to myself that I can do it, and I can be better this time or the next time.
It's funny. Like, I think I've probably summited, I don't know, like 30 mountains all around the world, and every single one I got to the top of, I cried. And I think there's something really about that. Like, there's something so satisfying about just pushing your body to like the absolute fucking limit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's a 15,000 foot peak or a 25,000 foot peak. Like, every single peak is hard. Like, and it's just that long fucking slog to get up. And then when you achieve your goal, whatever that goal is, and you've just pushed yourself mentally and physically, there's no better feeling. It's such an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's addicting. And I think that's what, prompted me into going to my next marathon training. I was like, yeah, I did one marathon, but I have a lot to prove to myself, and I have a lot of, learning to do and trial and error. And I was like, I'm going to do this again. And
so you finished the LA Marathon. You're a fucking wreck.
Oh my God, it was a disaster. I had never felt that much physical pain. I mean, it was like an out of body experience. Like, your body's failing. It's like, stop. And you're just pushing like more. And I've never been faced with a situation where I've had to just keep pushing. My body's literally feels like it's failing. It's like a bad dream where you're trying to run a dream, except it's like real life, and like it's real pain. So it's like, and I'm wearing like a Dogpound shirt, and people in the crowd are going, come on, Dogpound, you got it. I'm like, I know I got it. Like, fuck off. Like, I look horrible, but I'm like, yeah, and I'm going to finish this.
Yeah.
But
And then how
yeah,
long was it after you finished the LA Marathon before you signed up for the Hawaii Marathon?
it was in March, April, May, June, July. 4 months later,
Mm-hmm.
I had taken a complete break from running after this marathon. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm gonna get back into it.
And you were rehabbing your shin splint, right?
I didn't feel shin pain during the marathon.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I don't know if it was adrenaline. I don't know what it was. I did not feel my shin hurting um at all. It was amazing. Um but yeah, during this time I was doing more prehab and strength training before I geared up for the next marathon. I didn't know that even wanted to do another marathon at that
I
point.
wouldn't if you would have put me through what you went through. I would have
Right.
been like one and done. It's like I did it. I got a medal. Fuck it.
Done. Oh my god, the medal was the best part. I'm like, give me that. I'm like, thank you. Like I earned this.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I taken a major break from running. I took a break from kind of everything. Like I was doing a lot of Pilates because I was like, I was just tired.
Hmm.
I feel like I was so burnt out from the training. The 50-mile weeks, like it did burn me out. So when it was done, I was like, I want to do it again, but I want to do LA again, and it's gonna be in a year. Like I need to chill, you
Yeah.
know?
That's so interesting though that you went into like Pilates because I think a lot of people don't. I think the best thing you can do in life is cross train.
Yeah.
And if you have like one specific sport that you're really passionate about, the best thing you can do when you get burnt out or after you've finished like a major competition is get into like another sport
Yeah.
where you can keep up your fitness, where you can keep your muscle tone, where you can keep kind of building,
Right.
but it's a totally different experience with a totally different rhythm. You know, like when I played basketball, sometimes I would take time off and I would play rugby,
Uh-huh.
and I played rugby all through school as well. And they were very kind of complementary and totally different sports, and both very physical and both very focused on fitness.
Mhm.
But I just loved like because when I was done basketball, I was so exhausted. Like when I finished the basketball season, I was so exhausted, and then I would take like a week or two, and then I would start rugby,
Yeah.
and then like being able to be that physical, but just have a totally different mindset. It was such a rejuvenating factor.
Mhm.
And then I would go through the rugby season, and then I would finish rugby, and then I would go back into basketball.
Yeah.
And, you know, a few weeks here, a few weeks there on either side just to recover and relax. But I really fell in love with that rhythm because I loved both sports, and both sports gave me such different like experiences physically and mentally
Absolutely.
that it was almost like a rejuvenating factor. Like just stopping cold turkey is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was yeah, it was tough to not it was tough to it was tough to quit cold turkey
Hmm.
from running for me because it was something I'd loved so much, and I was like, "Oh shit, is this what I is this how I'm gonna ruin my love of running? Did I just ruin my love of running? I crossed the finish line, I'm done. I know I wanna do it again, okay." But then the week after, I'm like, "I don't know if I wanna do that again."
Mm.
And then it was 2 weeks, I'm like, "I haven't run a single step," and, you know, 3 weeks later, I think it was, like, 3 weeks, and I'm like, "Yeah, like, I miss running."
Hmm.
Um, but I was already doing this Pilates thing. I was like, I mean, I was super into it. I was doing, like, 5 times a week. Uh, Reformer Pilates, I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. It's very dynamic. It's challenging, and, I was doing this Pilates thing.
Great for stretching too.
It was perfect. I
Mm.
felt very limber, but I was losing muscle. Like,
Mhm.
I've had a really strong core, but, you know, it's been a journey for me incorporating all the things that I love and doing them at the same time. It's like I'm doing strength, not really running. I'm doing Pilates because I get like laser focus. Like I'm into this, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be really good at it, and I get like obsessive over it almost.
Mhm.
So the Pilates thing, I'm like, okay, I know the moves. Like it's kind of lost its novelty a little bit. I can keep up with the class. At first, it's such a challenge, but then when you accomplish it, or me personally, I'm like, I think I have a great understanding of what this is. Like I was like, I kind of want to go back to this running thing.
Mhm.
And, I was with my best friend, the one I'd run the LA marathon with, and I was actually drinking. Like we were drinking margaritas. I'm like, you know what? Like I'm gonna run the Honolulu Marathon. And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm like, no, like I'm actually gonna do this. Like I want to do this. I'm ready. And like, let's do it together. She's like, I'm not gonna do it,
Mhm.
but I'll go with you. And I'm like, yeah, like I'll do this on my own. I just trained for a marathon with you. And I was doing all of my runs during the week by myself. It was the long run that I was doing with her.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, like you can ride a bike when I do the long run and you can support me that way. Booked the ticket, booked the booked the race. And I also
Did you do the same 20-week program build up?
no, hell no.
Uh,
I bought a program. I follow this runner. His name is Tommy Trees.
Hmm.
He lives in the UK, but him and his dad write training programs. His dad is like a legendary runner, and he's a fantastic runner as well. So he has a running program that I purchased. It was like I think it's like 25 pounds or euro. I don't even know what that is in dollars, but I'm like, yep, here, take my money.
Yeah.
So that was the program. It was 16 weeks.
And what was the main difference? Like what were your miles like week in, week out in the build up?
The peak week was, I think, 40 miles was the max, and it was just 1 week. And the training was a little different because I'm like, I don't want shin pain anymore. I want to go into this with a smarter approach, and I kind of still had this lingering pain that was present when I started running again. So I Monday was like a easy 4 mile run. Tuesday was like an intense speed workout, which would range between like 7 to 8 miles of interval training. It would be Thursday was another easy run, Friday is cross training, and then Saturday would be my long run.
Mhm.
The difference being Monday was only 4 miles the entire time, and I would do the treadmill.
Mhm.
I would do 45 minutes zone two training, so like a low heart rate, being able to talk kind of thing. Which to me, I'm like, this is so boring. Like, what is the benefit of this? Because I really hadn't focused too much on zone two training during my first marathon block.
Mhm.
Um,
But that's your steady. I mean, like that's the slow and steady, right? Like
right.
that's almost your marathon pace.
It's like building the engine kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's building your aerobic capacity,
Mm.
um, and injury prevention. It's like when you're clocking so many miles, like being able to run and add mileage, but kind of like damage free because you're not going fast. Especially on the treadmill was really helpful for me.
Mhm.
So my program basically was this easy run on Monday. Tuesday was the speed workout. I would run up and down the Venice boardwalk. One of my friends would ride a bike. Not my best friend abandoned me. The one who was like, I'm gonna train blah 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 that go to Hawaii didn't even go to Hawaii. Like this was like she was so far gone at this point. But my other friend kind of coached me through these speed workouts. So it was like 4 miles, 7 to 8 miles, and then it would be 5 to 6 miles on Thursday, and then it would be my long run that I was, was running on my own for. It was like a 10, 14, 17, some 16s mixed in, but it wasn't like a build up. It was like if you did 14, you would do 17, and the week after that would be another 14.
Mhm.
And then it would be like a deload, it'd be like an 8 mile run. So that program worked better for me.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't have shin pain at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, at all. I mean, I felt a little bit of kind of like uh a tenderness kind of, but it wasn't like a sharp pain. I didn't have any runs that I bailed out of because of my shin.
And then what was it like making that flight to Hawaii and being like, okay, time to settle in for a fucking marathon?
So stressful.
Yeah.
So like I was excited, but you know, when you're training for a marathon, when I was training for a marathon, I feel like I kind of became that person where you're like, oh my God, it's always something. You know, those people when you're like, it's always something. It was like my shin and this and this and this, there's aches and there's pains and you're tired. And 2 weeks before the race, I had my 20-mile run and I got so sick,
Mhm.
horribly sick, like the flu, not COVID vibes, but like very ill. Like I was out of work for 3 days and I was like,
Yeah, your
the
body just gave up.
all my training for this, like horrible respiratory, just horrible. I had pneumonia a couple years ago too. So every time I get sick, it's like a huge thing. And I'm like, oh my God, like, is this, it's a nightmare. So my 20-mile run before the deload, I substituted for a 15-mile run, but I ran the 15 miles all at my marathon pace.
Mm.
So in my head, going into the marathon, I'm like, well, you didn't do the 20-mile run, like it's over. Like all of that was for nothing.
But
And
you're still fit. And, like you've still done hundreds of miles in your
to me, I'm
training.
like, doesn't matter. Like I was it's so all or nothing. Like I was just like, that's it. So that was on my mind
Hmm.
going into it. But yeah, the plane ride, I was excited. I was going to Hawaii, but I was also like, oh my God, like I have a huge, huge, huge event tomorrow because I flew Saturday. Like I flew Saturday. I didn't want to go too far ahead because I didn't want to be in Hawaii being like, I can't enjoy this because I know I have a race. So I flew in Saturday, and with the time difference, it was nice because I got like a two-hour buffer.
Hmm.
Um, Enjoyed the day in Hawaii. I went to the race expo, picked up my bib, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like I'm about to run another marathon by myself.
Which island were you on?
Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same island I went to school on, so it was like very symbolic for me almost. And I'm like, wow, I'm a fully evolved adult. And the last time I was here, I was 18.
Full circle.
Yeah, I mean, I was living on like $50 a week taking the bus, and now I'm like, stepping off the plane. I'm like, wow, I've really, made a life for myself. Um, it was a great moment.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I was like, fuck, I'm running a marathon tomorrow. So I'm like, not,
Shit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I spent time with my mom and my best friend and my sister throughout the day, and my aunt was there. It was really nice. We had a nice dinner together, and I'm like, okay, well, the race starts at 5 a.m. So I was in bed at, I think, 9.
Mhm.
I got like 3 hours of sleep. I was tossing and turning. I was so nervous because I had to get up at 3 to walk to the trolley. So my hotel was like a couple miles north of the starting line. So they had like a trolley. You could walk, take the trolley with these thousands of runners, whatever. So
How many people sign up for the Hawaii Marathon? Just like ballpark.
I think it was like 35,000.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
Now these
it
people
was
are coming from
insane.
all over the world because there's not
Yeah.
they're not even 35,000 people like living in Oahu that run.
No, it's like it's a lot of tourists. And Hawaii is unique in the sense
We'll
that,
keep going a little bit longer, yeah?
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Um, Hawaii's different in the sense that there's no cutoff time. Like LA, there's no cutoff time. So if you're signed up to run, there will be someone at the finish making sure that you finish and get your medal.
Even 24 hours later?
I don't know if someone has stretched it that far, but I mean, they say no, there's no limit. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would, yeah, I'm sure there was someone there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the finishing time was, but I did when I was finishing, I saw the last people coming the opposite direction. I'll explain kind of the course in a second,
Yeah.
but
Well, I remember you telling me that like you were slightly disappointed because it wasn't more scenic. Because
yeah.
I was always thinking like, fuck, if you're gonna go to Hawaii, like which is one of the most beautiful places in the world,
Mhm.
like, and you're gonna run for 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours or 2 hours, you know, depending on who you are, like you'd want to be running along a gorgeous part of the island because you're in such a beautiful place. Like that's part
Right.
of the tourist element of doing it.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it was just kind of like a pretty normal looking highway.
It was a and it was yeah, it was a different experience because I knew the course and I had driven the street multiple times in my life, you know. And I remember there being more views of the ocean almost. But okay, so you start the race and it's 5 a.m. You know, they do the fireworks, this exciting, like this amazing start. It's beautiful. So you're starting downtown, you run and you make a loop back. So by the time you're back to Waikiki and you're running where you can see the ocean, it's still pitch black. And then you're running through the park, it's still pitch black. And then you're running up this huge hill and you have the beautiful ocean next to you. It's pitch black, you can't see anything.
Mhm.
And then you're running through neighborhoods, pitch black. So for the first 14, 15 miles, it's black, you can't see anything.
And this is December.
Yeah.
So this is winter. So the sun
Yeah.
doesn't come up till like 7:30ish or 8, right?
I would say yeah, probably like 7
Yeah.
30ish.
So for the first 2 hours, you're running. For the first like 2.5 hours, you're running in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot, it's humid, you're already sweating. I didn't even start the race with a shirt on because standing at the starting line for 45 minutes early, it's torrential downpour. Pouring, 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 pouring. Like everyone is soaked to the bone. Like I texted my friend, I was like, "Can you bring like a fresh socks for me and a towel?" Like it was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so in terms of the race, miles 13 to about 17, you're going out in one direction and then you're making a loop and then you're coming back the same way. So it's like a 4 mile stretch, a little loop, and then 4 miles back. That 4 miles, like it's like neighborhood almost. You know, there's beautiful scenery next to you, like the mountains, but when you're thinking like marathon in Hawaii, like the course is a little bit different than you would probably expect.
Yeah.
It was still, I mean, it was really pretty. It was pretty, but it wasn't um it was a little daunting. That stretch on the back stretch going out and back was hard. And also, you know, when you're running out, you know, all of a sudden you see like the elites looping back.
All the guys from Kenya just.
Yeah, it like floating by you, which is amazing, but it's also like, oh my God. So at a certain point, you know, when you're running back to the start line, you have people running in the opposite direction. So it's a lot of bodies at once. And you know, I could stick my arm out and basically touch anyone at any time. There was no like real separation between anyone because it's so packed.
That's wild. So what was it like on the starting line? Because like obviously you'd had such a difficult time with the LA Marathon. You'd had the hamstring pull. Like standing on that starting line in the rain, you must have been like, what the fuck's gonna happen to me in the next 4 hours? Like,
Oh, I
am I
was
gonna
shaking.
am I
Yeah.
gonna have a difficulty? Is it gonna be smooth sailing? Like there's so many things that could fail
Yeah.
and not work out. And the weather seemed to be against you too. Like how nervous were you before the start?
it was one of those moments where I'm like, you know what? Like I'm here, I'm on the starting line. I'm gonna do my best, and you have to just go into it. Like I have my goals. I have goal A, I have goal B, and I have goal C.
And you didn't have your friend with you. You were all by yourself.
No,
Yeah.
it was just by myself. It was just me.
Yeah.
And I just went into it thinking like run your own race. Run your own race. And I kept telling myself that because at the start, the fireworks go off. There's so much adrenaline and like there's this, this classic case of people that go out too fast. I feel amazing. I'm going to like ride this wave and then you get to mile 13, 14, 15. Okay, I feel amazing. You hit mile 20 and it's like boom, like you go straight downhill, you know? And I thought to myself, like, look at your watch, just run on pace. And, there are people passing me in the beginning and I'm kind of doing my own thing. And I'm looking at my watch. And I'm like, I'm still on pace. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
What's your pace? Like, what kind of, like, are you trying to do like a 6 or 7 minute mile? Like, what's
Oh,
your,
hell no.
no.
No, I'm like an 8:45, like
Mm.
8:45. I was trying to go under 4 hours. Like, that has been my goal. That's like this kind of arbitrary goal where I'm like, I, I want to do that. That's what feels in my wheelhouse,
Mhm.
you know? Um, and it felt attainable. The LA Marathon, I really thought that I could do it. I was really thinking, okay, our goal is like 350. I think I can squeeze out a 330. Like I had a real feeling that we could do it. Um, Obviously that did not happen.
Yeah.
But during the marathon, I'm like, have fun between 8:45 and like a 9 minute pace. Like you'll be fine under 4 hours. Um, and as I'm running it, I realized like mile 6 that I'm like, God, this is a lot harder. Like I felt it was harder to breathe. It had been pouring rain. It's like very humid. I wasn't dying, but I'm like, okay, I definitely feel more labored.
Yeah.
Um,
Running in humidity is the worst.
yeah, it was definitely a unique experience that, I didn't really have a way to prepare for running in Southern California.
Yeah, because in Southern California, there's no humidity. That's what makes it so beautiful. Like, that's what makes it such a beautiful place to live. Like, I remember playing rugby back in the day, and we would play outdoors, obviously, in Toronto in the summertime. In Toronto, for people who don't know out there, it's east coast of Canada, and it's kind of like built on a swamp. And it gets super humid in the summertime, and you get crazy rainstorms and stuff like that. Same like New York, but the humidity some days you can like cut it with a knife.
Right.
And I remember playing rugby like when I was a kid in those conditions in the summertime because it was in the off season for basketball. And like there are days where you're playing like 60-minute games and you just can't breathe at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's so labored. I can't imagine setting off on like a 4-hour run and not being able to breathe because of the
Yeah.
humidity.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as bad as I thought. I was trying to mentally prepare for the humidity being bad. It was bad. It was definitely uncomfortable in a way that uh it was just another thing to add to the like, is this gonna be the thing that takes me out? Is it gonna be the humidity?
Does that play in your brain? Are you someone who can block that shit out, or are you like playing the
No.
worst case scenario?
I'm not someone that's like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm not like that. I'm like, no, like run your own race, focus, you're fine.
Yeah.
And I was fine. I was fine.
Super
Pace
locked
was
in.
amazing. I was just locked in, yeah. And when I realized that, my pace was like dropping behind what my anticipated pace would be, uh, I was like, I'm okay. Like I crossed the half marathon line on pace. So it was like an hour and 58 minutes. I'm like,
What's that?
okay,
13 miles?
yeah,
Yeah.
13 miles. It was like an hour and 58 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm on pace.
Mhm.
It felt great. I just see my family at mile 11. They were cheering me on, and I felt good. I was running my own race. It was like that kind of like feeling of like being high was kicking in. Now I'm like, okay, like this, it's so exciting, but I'm also gearing up because, last time at mile 16, it was like, "Meow," and then it was hell. So I'm like, what's going to happen? But I'm like, okay, whatever happens is going to happen, but like stay focused now. So I think, part of the run, I kind of am going in and out of like this like conscious focus and kind of like, whoa, like I'm running right now. And like this like cloud like feeling. It's just crazy. There's so much energy around you. There's people cheering, there's people handing out water, there's the people around you, some people are in costumes. Like it's just such an amazing feeling. And
You just went zen.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just such a collective, it's so individual, obviously, but it's such a collective experience because you're out there with the person next to you, like going to a finish line that you've worked so hard
Mhm.
to cross, to be able to cross, you know, like it's
Feels like
such
there's like a
journey.
lot of like collective positive energy.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm.
There's and people with the signs, and you know, I look at the person next to me and I'm like, wow, like you've trained just as hard for this as me, and you know, we've been waiting for this moment, and now this is the moment. You know, what's gonna happen? Like we're gonna do our best, and yeah, I had a fantastic race. You know, it was grueling and it was so challenging, but in ways that I was excited about. It wasn't a hamstring cramp, and I wasn't like, I should have done this. I should have done this. Like I can honestly say I did my best and I had fun and I enjoyed it. And with the LA Marathon, I was resenting myself for 10 miles almost. It was harder for me during the LA Marathon to be accepting of what was happening. Whereas in Hawaii, I was like, this is challenging, but I'm doing it, you know? Like I'm really hot and I'm exhausted, but like I'm gonna take a water cup, I'm gonna dump it on my head. I'm gonna take this water cup and fill my water bottle. I'm gonna take this goo, this energy gel, and I'm just gonna keep it moving.
Mhm.
And, you know, despite the humidity and the heat that I wasn't used to, like everything was great. You
Yeah.
know, I had a great race.
No injuries? You made it through smoothly?
No injuries, no shin pain. I mean, and this is for the next marathon I do. I do need to find a balance between mileages because I think I should have done a higher mileage program, something in between. Because I think that I could have added maybe more time, so like 4 more weeks. But around mile 20, 21, I was starting to get crampy, body was fatigued, like that whole like hitting the wall thing, like I hit the wall.
Mhm.
Um,
That's amazing. You got 21 miles into it before you hit the wall.
I mean,
Like,
anything after 16, I was like, 17, 18, 19. I'm like, okay, so I've totally surpassed the performance of the LA Marathon.
well,
And I passed my family at mile 22, and my mom handed me a Gatorade. I'm like, amazing. So I drink the Gatorade, and I don't, oh, okay. So I take the Gatorade and I'm pouring it into my handheld thing because with the Gatorade, it's like sloshing around. I can't open it and pour it. With my water bottle, it's like you can like suck on it. So it's like the lid, you can like run whatever. I am not thinking like you have to imagine like at this point you've been running 21 miles. You're like delirious. You can't really see, you can't think like your mind is just going. It's like your body's like traumatized. You're so locked in. You're like, I need this to be over. I want this to be over. Like everything hurts. You're dying. Like it's literally it's that serious. So,
so
at least
good.
for me, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, what's going on? It's like absolute hell. And I'm thinking the entire time, why do I do this? Why am I doing this? Why do I do this to myself?
Mm.
Why did I think this is gonna be like fun, or what was I thinking? Um, but anyways, I pour the Gatorade into my bottle and I'm not thinking. I throw away the top of my bottle and the Gatorade and everything. So I'm like sloshing along. I have no Gatorade, I have no water. It's coming out from every angle. And it's like you're just a mess for the last 4 miles. And it's
So
like
good.
it's and I'm in my mind, I'm like, you're just keep pushing your body, push, 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 push.
Mhm.
And I did, and I pushed, and it was painful. And when I finished, I cried again, but I was so happy because I ran 12 minutes faster than the LA Marathon. So I was like, okay, what I'm doing is working. My training is working. What I did was working, and I'm, you know, inspired to keep going. And I looked back on the race and I was like, I gave it everything that I had, and I was, you know, so proud of myself. And, you know, if I could take another 12 minutes off each time I do a marathon, I'll be stoked. And I learned a lot this training cycle where I feel happy and excited that I'm slowly moving towards, you know, maybe a 3:30 one day, maybe a 3:20, and just being able to take it seriously and just being excited about it. I think that's the main thing. Like
That's
I'm
amazing.
happy that I'm excited about it after finishing the marathon. I don't know why.
Now, do you think like this is something you're going to do again? Like, are you going to take some time off and then start training again? Like, are you going to use marathon running to like see more of the world? Like, because I was chatting with you about that marathon on the Great Wall of China,
Right.
and I thought like, fuck, that'd be like because you've never been to China before. I lived there forever, but like I'm just wondering like if this is something that you're keen on using to maybe travel because like going from LA to Hawaii is quite interesting. Maybe you can go to South America or somewhere in Asia. Like, is that something that's kind of on your roadmap?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean, my mom said that too. She's like, you should run more marathons if we can travel. You can like do one in she's like Sydney, or she said something like that. I'm like, yeah, right. Like
Yeah. You pay the plane tickets and we're there.
yeah, right. And I'm like, and I have to train for another 16 to 20 weeks for this like most grueling moment of my entire life. But Yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to and open to, and um, just taking some time to regroup after the Honolulu Marathon. I'm gonna run a half marathon in Hawaii actually in April, so I'll be back for a
Okay.
half marathon.
Have you already started training for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
easing into it. Still dealing with the shin thing.
Yeah.
It's posterior. Uh, I should know this off the top of my head. Posterior tibialis tendon
Okay.
inflammation, uh, tendinopathy. So kind of rehabbing that, and no main other issues besides any mental blockages,
Yeah.
which I've kind of experienced after the Hawaii Marathon a little bit.
I think the mental element of actually running the race must be unbelievable. I've never felt anything like that. But the mental element of like recovering from a race like that and
Yeah.
then easing back into training
Mhm.
must be just bananas.
It's been really, I mean, that's been like one of the toughest aspects.
Yeah.
Going out for a couple of runs and it's like, okay, I'm 4 miles in, I'm 5 miles into this run. My shin is killing me. Uh, and I think back and I'm like, wow, I just did this times five
Mm.
at one time. So, and I'm like at 4 or 5 miles and I'm like, wow, this is hard.
It's so funny, isn't it? Right? Like,
Yeah.
because like you did a marathon in Hawaii, you crushed it, and then you come back and you're doing 5 mile ones and you're dying.
Yeah.
Like it's the same. Like you go climb like a 25,000 foot peak and you fucking crush it, and then you come back the next week and like doing like a 16,000 foot peak is a brutal.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like it just doesn't matter. Like everything is hard all the time.
Yeah.
And you just have to fucking fix your brain and go.
That's literally what it is. Okay, tomorrow's tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow's tomorrow. Yesterday was yesterday. Like,
No.
what are you gonna do right now? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, Um,
I was listening to Roger Federer talk about this because like tennis is the ultimate mental test because like you just have to like when a point is done you have to put it behind you and move on to the next one because like if you look over Roger Federer's career and he's one of the most decorated tennis players of all time, him, Djokovic, and Nadal, but Federer, like if you look at Federer's entire career, he only won like 55% of his points versus losing like 48% of his points or something like that.
yeah,
So the margin for error for winning games is almost nothing.
yeah,
So this idea of like point over, put it behind you. What's next?
right,
Like it's all about like being in that moment.
right,
Like never thinking about the next point, never worrying about what just happened.
right.
And I feel like again, like it's a metaphor for running, it's a metaphor for life. And I love the way people break this shit down
Yeah,
and mentally just plow through difficult situations.
you just have to push.
Yeah.
If you want it, like you'll push and you'll find a way.
Yeah.
And it's this idea of like peace. Like, if you can find, peace in the present moment. I mean, I think being in the present moment is peace, like accepting it is what it is. And, sometimes I'm on a hard run. I'm like, okay, like I can do this for 5 more seconds. What does this feel like for 5 seconds, And then you think about it and you're like, I don't need to think about it. If I'm thinking about just being in this present moment, like how much can I put myself through?
Mhm.
I'm not thinking like 5 more miles to go. Or sometimes I am and I'm like, oh, 5 more miles to go. But if I'm like in the dark depths, I'm thinking like one foot in front of the other, bro. Like, are you driving your knees? Like, are you even breathing right now? Like, be in your body, Like, find peace in that, if you can separate time and be in your body, like, you can accomplish a lot more than you think. And it just plays into this like mental, this endurance. Like, how much can you take? It's like, okay, well, you don't really know how much you need to take if you're just in your body,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you know David Goggins, the endurance athlete?
Yes, I know.
So he was telling this story once. Like everyone thinks he just wakes up, fucking bounces out of bed, and goes for runs every day. Like and that is effortless for him, right? But he was saying like sometimes he'll sit on his steps, in his front, part of his house, and it'll take him 30 minutes to put his shoes on and tie them up because he's like swearing at himself, like, stop being a pussy, fucking
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's time to run, like fucking, you're not quitting today, blah, blah, blah. And he
Right.
has to like, and even someone who's as hardcore as he is still like battling with his own mind.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, we do it and we're not even like elite fucking crazy people like he is. Like
Right.
like it just shows you like every single person struggles with this.
Yeah.
And it's all about like who can overcome that to go on and do whatever they want to do or achieve greatness. Like
Yeah.
it all starts in the same place.
Absolutely.
Putting your fucking shoes on.
Yeah. That's it's like one foot in front of the other, but it's like, let's put the shoes on first. It starts with just putting your shoes on. You don't have to put one foot in front of the other before that, And it's a matter of that. It's like, how bad do you want it? Like, if you want something, you're gonna make it happen, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
I love it, man. That's a
for
fucking
for your
amazing.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I know you gotta pop out soon. But is there anything else that you wanted to just mention about running or about the Hawaii Marathon or what's coming up next?
Um, it just, like I said, it was such a great experience.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't decided to run a second marathon, it just would have been a bad taste left in my mouth after the LA Marathon. I was like, I want redemption. And I think that, I proved to myself that I survived something that was really, really, really painful
Mm-hmm.
physically and mentally. And I put myself back in the arena and I knew what could go wrong and I still did it. And I finished with, pride and excitement. And when I think about marathon running, it's not a story that I'm like, yeah, like I really fucked up the LA Marathon. It's like, yeah, I had like a really shitty race in LA and then I went to Hawaii and had the best time ever. And I proved to myself that you know, I could do it and I did it. And now, even speaking about this right now, I'm like, I want to go like for a run, and it's like, it's finding that motivation within. And like I said, if you want something bad enough, like you will find a way to do it. And it's important to remember that.
Yeah, and if you're gonna go for 10 practices or if you're gonna run 10 marathons, not every single one of them is gonna be beautiful and amazing and smooth. Like you're gonna have ups and downs, and it's just fighting and coming back from it and
Yeah.
staying focused. It's again like it's such a beautiful thing, and it happens across all sports. But it's wonderful. I can't wait to stay in touch with you and kind of watch how the next marathon all plays out.
Right. Right. I feel like these last two marathons were like my 30, 55, 5K. Like my, whoa, like what was that? Like I think, 5, 10 years, I'll look back and be like, you did not know anything.
Mhm.
Like you really did not know anything. There's so much to learn. There's so many different ways that I can improve and push myself. And I think, it's showing up and uh just improving every single day and just knowing that you can do something. Like maybe I'm not starting like the fastest runner. I never was the fastest runner.
Sure.
Um, I was a horrible runner, but then I became an okay runner. And then I ran times that I was really proud of.
Hmm.
Am I going to the Olympics? No, but am I improving on my time? Yeah. And that's what counts.
It is, right? And it's so interesting, like how you can really train your body and your mind. Like I remember I was playing college basketball, and we would have these like 2-hour practices, and I remember like in my early years, in my early months, like in my first year, like guys would be like, I'd be throwing up at the end of a practice or even midway through because it was so difficult.
Yeah.
And then like 3 months later, the practices would still be as tough, but I would do like a 1-hour weightlifting session before. And then I would train with one of the coaches privately on shooting and stuff for about an hour and a half after.
Yeah.
So instead of just trying to get through 2 hours, I was doing like an hour before and another hour and a half after.
Yeah.
And the actual practice was actually something that I was totally capable of doing and even ready for more afterwards.
Right.
And it's amazing like how you can just train yourself to endure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, figure out what works for you. As long as it gets done, it gets done. You can't compare yourself to others. And it's such a cliche, but it's like, take a look inside, don't look at the person next to you.
Mhm.
Like, take a look inside, especially with running. It's like,
So personal.
it's so personal.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so personal. It's you versus yourself. Like, you can stop at any time. You can just stop. Like, just stop. If you want to stop, stop. But if you want it, like, keep going.
Yeah.
It's you versus yourself versus the clock, and that's it. No one can do it for you, which is amazing. No one can throw the touchdown. You're like on the sideline, like, yeah, my team won. It's like you either did it or you did not. And that's like my favorite aspect of, anything in life, I think.
Beautiful. Beautiful way to finish it. Thank you, John, for swinging by the podcast. And honestly, like you want to come back anytime, we'll chat. And I love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. So good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Tune in next time.